Hi, welcome to the Benbow Historic Inn. I'm Justin Legg, naturalist and tour director here. So glad you could join me on our Redwood walk as we go through the hotel and give you a little introduction to how these massive super organisms can have the smallest start, the smallest beginnings, but are such great role models and can inspire us for these really large, big picture thoughts throughout life. We're going to take about a 1.5 mile walk through the hotel, down the river, into the woods, and back. It's going to take us about an hour. Our nice restrooms are here in the front of the hotel if you need anything. Restrooms and water are there. As well, if you end up leaving our program a little bit early, you're more than welcome to if you don't actually want to walk down to the river with us and into the woods. If you'd like to get back to your room to relax, know that Barbara at the front desk is happy to answer any questions and give you my information if you'd like to reach out and contact me further. Anyways, has anybody ever been here to the Benbow Historic Inn before? Yeah, wonderful. When did you visit? Oh, wow, about 40 years ago during your family's wedding, and you just have a great memory of the Redwood Forest and wanted to come back and really experience it? That's wonderful. We hear it all the time. Did you know that the Redwoods actually were one of the first proposed national parks ever in 1852? So many people have had a big love and appreciation for this forest for many, many years. Let's start going through the hotel and show you some of the really special parts here. The reason I want to walk us through the hotel before we get into the forest is just to highlight that the construction done by the Benbow family, who really cared for this land, they built the hotel themselves. They used old growth redwood timber from this land. The trees actually grew right here. We're going to go into the woods and check it out. It might sound a little interesting that I'm so excited that this family harvested and used these ancient redwoods to build the hotel, but they actually really did it in a sustainable, caring manner. And I want to point out one fact about the hotel here. You'll notice over in the corner of our dining room, this nook actually juts out significantly into the dining room. The Benbow family did this to protect this oak tree as they built the hotel, so they wouldn't have to cut any large branches or actually remove the tree during the construction. Again, just showing that the Benbow family that lived here cared for the land, and they really wanted to share this forest and this place with others. The hotel, again, construction finished in 1926, which was 5 years after the creation of Humboldt Redwood State Park in 1921. As we walk through the dining room, now we're out here on the back patio where we see one of our first big, tall redwood Sequoia sempervirens on our back lawn here. This historic bridge is the former Highway 101. We're going to walk down the stairs here. We're a dog-friendly establishment. We're going to walk down the stairs here and go into the Eel River, into the forest. So you'll see Sequoia sempervirens standing tall just on the other side of the Eel River as they peer over on the Benbow Inn. These trees have always stood here on this land. A coast redwood can tower. Here we are now right up against the river where we can enter into the forest, and you'll see that our coast redwoods can tower 100, 200, 300 feet tall. Wow! Have any of you ever heard some of the amazing facts about redwoods? Have y'all learned anything special before that inspired you to come visit? Oh, that they're super duper old? You betcha. Redwoods, Sequoia sempervirens, they're some of the oldest organisms on planet Earth. Pretty impressive. But technically, officially, the bristlecone pine tree gets the world record for being the world's oldest trees. Has anybody heard anything else? Oh, that they're really, really large, girthy, giant redwoods. Yes, you betcha. Coastal redwoods, Sequoia sempervirens, can be some of the widest and most massive trees on Earth. But scientifically, officially, technically, Sequoia dendron giganteum, the giant sequoia in the Sierra Nevadas, they get the world record for being the world's largest, widest trees. Interesting, isn't it? Has anybody heard anything else? Ah, yes, the home of the world's tallest trees. So, since the establishment of Redwood National Park, what's been so difficult scientifically, officially, is actually determining factually the truth about Sequoia sempervirens, Redwood. So, one of the only things we've been able to prove scientifically for many, many years has been how tall the trees are. You can actually use a tape measure. You can go from the base of the tree all the way to the tippity top, and you can say, this coast redwood, the world's tallest living tree on Earth, is 379 feet tall. Whoa! Professor Stephen Sillett says the theoretical maximum height of a coast redwood historically would be about 400 feet tall, out of control. These trees here along Avenue of the Giant Humboldt Redwoods right here at the Benbow are way super huge. There's groves that are the highest concentration of tall trees on Earth, all surpassing about 360 feet tall. Let's get into the woods, huh? It'll be a little uneven as we crawl over the creek here, but I want to show you how special it is. We'll see if we can find on the ground a redwood cone as we go into the woods here. Oh, wow, there it is. We found one. Alrighty. Notice how it's opened. If you've seen a giant sequoia cone, you might notice that the parts of the cone were all secured and tucked in, holding in these tiny little seeds there. So one single redwood cone could have thousands of seeds. But what's really interesting is they almost never actually grow to giant size. I had to include the ruler here so you could really tell how huge this tree was. They almost never get to that ginormous size from a seed. No kidding, about 1 in a million. 1 in a million seedlings will actually survive into that old growth, ginormous, impressive feature here. How do they normally grow, though? What's going on? What's so strange? So if you look really closely, you can see how there's kind of multiple trunks here that have actually fused together. So back in the day, here we are at the Thrap Mill Site, the trees that the hotel is built with. You'll see here an old redwood stump. Back in the day when they used to harvest the trees more gently without caterpillar tractors and ripping through the root systems, when they would harvest them, they would just magically, seemingly, reclone themselves, reiterate themselves, grow out of the mother organism, that mother root system, and pop up new bodies. This gentleman you see is on the stump of a still living organism. So a mama sequoia can live 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years old. Then when the trunk was harvested, as long as the root system is intact and isn't destroyed, she just automatically regenerates these bodies and can create wowzers. This is an old growth, never logged, what we would call a cathedral or fairy ring. Shows you what a structure like this, can turn into after about 1,000 years. The structures, the strength, the size of these coast redwoods is just absolutely out of control. To really go into the ecology and more depth of what's going on scientifically in the new research of Sequoia sempervirens, I hope you'll be interested in joining me on one of our private guided tours exclusive to our guests of the Benbow Historic Inn. It'll take a few hours to really help open your mind to what's going on here. But I'm so proud and happy you could join us today, and I hope this quick introduction helped inspire you and show you that although these trees start from the tiniest little seeds, they can turn into these massive structures and be wonderful role models for us here in America. United we stand, holding together as families. Anyways, we'll slowly walk back to the hotel here. I'm happy to stay behind and answer any of your questions. Even if you don't end up joining me on a private guided tour, I'd be happy to share my information if you have questions on the best trails to visit in parts of the park. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me today here at the Benbow Historic Inn. for a quick little introduction to some of the wonderful